Welcome on Easy Learning. Now today I am going to start the UP board 10th class, and all the students from the UP board can take advantage of these videos. तो हम इस पार्ट ऑफ द वीडियो में पहला चैप्टर करने जा रहे हैं जो प्रोज का है, यूपी बोर्ड 10th का, द एन्चेंटेड पोल, सी राज गोपालाचारी के द्वारा लिखा गया है। इस पार्ट ऑफ वीडियो में केवल हम इसको रीडिंग करेंगे, और अगर आपको इसका एक्सप्लेनेशन देखना है तो नेक्स्ट पार्ट आप देख सकते हैं। तो चलिए मैं इसको एक्सप्लेन करने से पहले इसको हम रीड कर लेता हूँ। The Enchanted Pole by C.RAJ Gopalachari. About the author. Chakravarti Raj Gopalachari, born on 1878 December and died on 25 December 1972, informally called Rajaji or C.R., was as an Indian lawyer, freedom fighter, politician and writer. He was the founder of the Swatantra Party. He was the first man to receive India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. He was also nicknamed as Margo of Savir. He wrote an abridged retelling of Mahabharata in English. He was deeply religious and a pious person and a follower of the Vedas and Upanishads. Richard Casey, the Favorer of from 1944 to 1946, regarded Rajaji as the wisest boss in India. The best possible tribute to Rajaji was from Mahatma Gandhi, who referred to him as the keeper of my conscience. About the lesson. This lesson is an extract from the Mahabharata. It reflects the character of Yudhishthira, Dharamraj, his patience, kindness, love for his brothers, and intelligence. He pleases Yaksh, giving satisfactory answers to his questions. The Yaksh was pleased with Yudhishthira's impartiality. The Yaksh was Yam, the lord of death, who had taken the form of Yaksh to see Yudhishthira as test his knowledge. Being satisfied with his answers, he blessed him and disappeared. Yudhishthira waited for his brothers in anxiety and thirst. Can they have been subjected to curse, or are they still wandering about in the forest in search of water? Can they have fainted, died of thirst? Unable to bear these thoughts and driven by an overpowering thirst, he gave up waiting and started out to look for his brothers and the pool, hoping that he might find them. Yudhishthira proceeded in the direction his brothers had taken and kept on walking through tracts full of wild bear and spotted deer and big forest birds till he came upon a beautiful green meadow around a pool of clear water. But when he saw his brothers lying there like flagpole, unable to restrain his grief, he lifted his voice and wept. He touched the faces of Bhima and Arjuna as they lay so still, silent, and mourned. Was this to be the end of all our woes? Just when our exile is about to end, you have been taken away. Even the gods have forsaken me in my misfortune. As he looked at their mighty limbs, now so helpless, he sadly wondered who could have been powerful enough to kill them. Then he too descended into pool, drawn to the water by an overpowering thirst. At once the voice without form warned. Your brothers died because they did not heed my words. They tried to drink water without answering my questions. Do not follow them. Answer my questions first, and then you can quench your thirst. This pool belongs to me. It did not take Yudhishthira a moment to understand that these could be none other than the words of Yaksh, and guessed what had happened to his brothers. It took him time to see a possible way of bringing them back to life. He said to the bodiless voice, "Please ask your questions." The voice put questions rapidly, one after another. What rescues man in danger? Courage, by the study of which science does man become wise. Not by studying any Shastra does man become wise. It is by association with the great in wisdom that he gets wisdom. The Yaksha asked, "What is swifter than the wind?" Mind. What is more faded than a dried straw? A sorrow-stricken heart. What befriends a traveler? Learning. Who is the friend of one who stays at home? The wife. Who accompanies a man in death? Dharma, that alone accompanies the soul in its solitary journey after death. Which is the biggest vessel? The earth, which contains all within itself, is the greatest vessel. What is happiness? Happiness is the result of good conduct. What is that? By giving up which man becomes loved by all. Pride. For if man gives up being proud, he will be loved by all. What is the loss which yields joy and not sorrow? Anger. If we give up being angry, we will no longer be subject to sorrow. What is that? By giving up which a man becomes rich? Desire. If man gives up being greedy, he will become wealthy. What makes one a real Brahman? Is it birth, good conduct, or learning? Answer decisively. Birth and learning do not make one a Brahman. Good conduct alone does. However learned a person may be, he will not be a Brahman without giving up bad habits. Even though he may be learned in the four Vedas, a man of bad conduct falls to a lower class. What is the greatest wonder in the world? Every day man sees creatures depart to Yam's kingdom, and yet those who remain want to live forever. This truly is the greatest wonder. Thus the Yaksha put many questions and Yudhishthira answered them all. In the end the Yaksha asked, "O king, one of your dead brothers can now be revived. Who do you want to come back to life?" It took Yudhishthira a moment to think, and then he wished that the cloud-complexioned, lotus-eyed, broad-chested and long-armed Nakul, lying like a fallen ebony tree, might arise. The Yaksha was pleased at this and asked Yudhishthira, "Why did you choose Nakul in preference to Bhim, who has the strength of 16,000 elephants? I have heard that Bhim is most dear to you. And why not Arjun, whose strength in arms is your protection? Tell me why you choose Nakul rather than either of these two." Yudhishthira replied, "O Yaksh, Dharma is the only shield of man, and not Bhim or Arjun. If Dharma is given up, man will be ruined. Kunti and Madri were the two wives of my father. I am alive, a son of Kunti, and so she is not completely bereaved. In order that the scales of justice may be even, I ask that Madri's son Nakul may revive." The Yaksha was most pleased with Yudhishthira's impartiality and granted them all his brothers would come back to life. It was Yam, the Lord of Death, who had taken the form of the Yaksha so that he might see Yudhishthira and trust him. He embraced Yudhishthira and blessed him. Then he disappeared. तो इस पार्ट में हमने इस चैप्टर को रीडिंग किया. अब हम नेक्स्ट पार्ट में इस चैप्टर को एक्सप्लेन करेंगे.